So this movement is a very, very natural and basic movement, right? Like, it's one of the first things that I teach my kids when they're young. Any of you guys seen our YouTube channel? Yeah, raise your hand. Okay, good. The very first video that I did, technique video, was me and my son, right? In my father-in-law's living room. It was a terribly grainy, horrible video, but it's probably one of the best videos that I've done because it shows people how to develop that in children. Like how old was I? Maybe 4?
4 maybe.
Maybe 4 years old. Okay. So all my kids, like once they get, my oldest son, I always play this game. I come tickle him and play around and then kick me and push me back, like, you know, because it becomes natural. Like when they start learning, like they fall on their back, boom, their feet are up. Like it's just natural for them because I played it a lot. And my father-in-law went to tickle my oldest son when he's I don't know 1 or 2 years old. Like, boom! Like okay, right? Blinded his nose. Right? Because that's what he learned. It's just natural. And so keeping the legs between us and our opponent, like I can do that with any of my kids immediately. I grab their leg and I pull it across, their hips swivel. Okay? So we want that to be natural for us. And if you watch some of the well, pretty much any of the Gracies, but the ones that come to mind right now, Hiron, if you guys have seen Hiron Gracie's match with Galbal, yeah. About maybe 13 minutes in, he decided, okay, I'm gonna turn the heat up, right? He went playful for a while in the beginning of the match, but at a certain point, he wanted to go 10 minutes in, let Galbal burn himself a little bit, and then he was like, okay, I'm gonna turn it up now. If you watch that match again, you're gonna see this movement a lot. There was a certain point where he said, okay, he's not passing my guard again. I'm not letting that happen. I'm gonna keep my guard. And you'll see this natural movement, this basic movement we just did. I'm gonna show you how that applies to what we're doing a little bit more on the ground, okay? Like with the kids, I would grab and pull, and how I teach them is I would pull their leg across and I would tickle their ribs. And they'd have to solve the problem. And what was natural was for them to bring the other foot over. Like, ah, good! And I'd pull the leg this way, tickle their ribs. They'd figure it out, the foot would come over. So, you know, like, I'm not suggesting tickle the blue belts. Really. But if you have kids, you know how to develop. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is use this same principle and see how it applies to a basic guard pass. Okay, we're going to go with a stacking pass. All right, and the stacking pass is one of my favorite guard passes. We kind of discussed this last night. I like breaking things down to very simple principles, and because I think that's just universal. It works for everyone. There's only 3 ways to pass the guard. Right? What do you mean? We talked about it last night. Right? There's only 3 ways to pass. How many guard passes do you know? You only do a couple. How many do you know? 10? 20?
Stick on tap, but I only do.
There's only 3. There's only 3 ways to pass the guard. There's a million variations. There's only 3 ways to pass the guard. Either over the legs, under the legs, or around the legs. Okay? That's it. Now, what we're going to talk about, a very, very common one, is under the legs, okay? So where he comes underneath like this and he goes to stacking here. So if he grabs here like this, what I want to do right away, once I realize that I've lost this, okay? Once he's got this hand on the collar and I see this coming down here, if I wait too long, what's going to happen? He's going to smash, his body comes to the side, collapses the leg, and now he's in side control before now I have to take all this space. Right? So there comes a time where we realize, like, okay, I've lost the guard, I need to bail. There's a number of things you can do, but this is a very, very simple and basic way to recover your guard. Okay? So we need a little bit of pressure from our partner on the top. So he gives me a little bit of pressure here, which is realistic, and that helps me move off of him. So you remember when I grabbed the gentleman's leg and he lifted his hips up? Same concept. So I connect to him, okay? So he's giving me pressure. I extend my leg. I create as much space as I can. I frame. I move my hips, and my legs come here. Okay? How many of you guys have done this before? Have I done this in a seminar before?
No. Not here. I've done this before.
You've done it before, for sure. But how many of you guys have seen this technique? Okay, good. We're going to work this as a drill. We used to do this up and down the mat, but you'll see it become reflexive. Now, once I get here, I've essentially stopped. I've used my arms as frames. Frames are temporary. okay, with the arms. They don't last very long, okay? And the whole objective here is to create a frame long enough for me to get my legs back into the game. Now I'm strong, okay? Everybody follow? So let's spin this direction a little bit. All right, so he reaches across, grabs my collar, okay? Now I realize I'm a little bit late in blocking the pass. I'm gonna extend my leg, and I'm gonna put my outside hand is gonna go to the hip, I lock my arm out. This hand goes to the shoulder. So I'm extending to resist him, foot goes to the floor, I shrimp crawl out, so now my knee can shoot down to where my right hand is, and the left leg comes over the head. Okay, can you pass me on this side anymore? No. So now, what do you feel like you need to do? Go to the other side. Yeah, so he starts to go to the other side, I'm gonna come here. And now we're gonna work the drill on the other side. So he's gonna come here, I extend, frame, move, boom. Okay, then I'm gonna come around. Make sure this leg comes around, and then he comes here. Okay, I extend, he gives me pressure, I move, frame, boom, here. And eventually this becomes reflexive as well, once you've drilled it enough, okay? But the main thing I want you to concentrate on here is once you get the legs back here, I'm very strong in this, give me all your weight. That's easy for me to hold, okay? And even take advantage of if he gives me all of his weight. What you don't want to do is this. You see the angle? Yeah. Okay, so as I move back into my guard, this leg's gonna come here. Okay, so that all happens at the same time. Everybody follow? So now he's going to give me pressure on this side. I'm going to extend, move, far enough so your legs can shoot back into position. All right? Everyone follow? Questions? All right. Who does the countdown?
You. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, right there. Strong. Now, when I start to come around this way, because I'm not productive over here, you want to swing this leg back.
So I think our question is just where our hands not really showing.
You're on the right side, right hand on the hip, left hand on the shoulder. Left side, left hand on the hip, right hand on the shoulder. It's not realistic or helpful, actually. No, it's not really harder for him to do that. So when I'm not fighting him, but I'm giving him a little bit of pressure so he can move off of me. So he puts his hands in place, and now he's going to shrimp crawl away. Yes, just so the knee can make that bend, come down to the knee. So you only need, and everybody's different. Like he doesn't need as much space. Like I didn't realize you were that flexible. He doesn't need as much space as I do just to get the knee back inside. And so, and actually the smaller person has a way better, like it's much easier for me to do this against me than it is for me to do it against her. Because I need a lot more space to get my leg back inside, right? She only needs like half the space I do, and boom, and then he goes back in. That's what makes sense. Is important. We need to have we need to have the understanding and the resistance and the practical application. But sometimes if you're rolling more than you're drilling, especially at the earlier points, like white belt, much more of your training time should be spent on drilling the actual technique without resistance. You know, so even in an open mat, you find a partner like, hey, let's do that drill. I guarantee you it's going to help you out. It's going to, it will escalate your jiu-jitsu. Now, drilling for somebody like Mark and I is different at this level. We can drill while we're training, right? So, would you agree with that? Do you think you probably, at this point, if I show Mark a different entry into an arm lock, he'll have it like that. He'll be able to pull it off on you because he's done thousands and thousands of arm locks, right? And so he just has a new way of applying it now, right? And so how he would drill that is when he's training with white belt or blue belt or purple belt, right? Like, okay, I want to try that move today. You guys may not even recognize it, but he's working on something specific. He doesn't need to tell you, just that's what he's working on, right? Because we can manufacture those situations a little bit easier. When you're at the beginning levels, the repetition is critical, and especially on the defensive side, right? Because nobody likes getting submitted. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's necessary. Like, this belt is nothing more than a representation of thousands and thousands of corrected mistakes. Very, very few, like a handful of like, late in bed at night, I think I'll try that tomorrow, and it'll work. Very few. Like, it happens sometimes, and it's awesome. And you have inspirations, and you try things in the moment, and they work. For the most part, the development comes through process of failures, right? And isn't that just a beautiful, like, correlation to life? Like, we screw up, then you have an opportunity. Like, you walk away and quit, and never get to that water. You can suck it up, like, yeah, screwed that up. Acknowledge it, and then you fix it, right? So it's very important at the beginning to really to focus on your repetition. And this is man, if you do this 5 minutes every time you come in to train, you do it with a partner 5 minutes back and forth, just do it. I promise you, give it a month. It'll help your guard a lot. All right, so how's everybody feeling with that movement? Everybody feel good? Okay, so I'm going to show one more like advanced application of this position for more than some of this, more senior guys or whatever, and we'll go into something a little bit more basic. All right, so in this movement, there's a lot of opportunity, okay, along the way. All right, so I extend, I move, and I come here. I catch a lot of sweeps in this position, okay, but also I catch a lot of submissions as well. So I could extend, and what did we talk about? Like, most of the time the person's not going to continue this direction. They feel like the easy direction is this way. So if he comes back around this way, here's one application. I take the arm with me, I pull my foot out, and I have the triangle, okay? Another option is I'm here, and he starts to turn the corner, and he starts to reach with this arm, okay? I grab it, I stretch, and I figure forward. And now we're gonna come here. Okay? So Americana is the most common situation here. And if some of you guys can't like lock your leg in a figure four, you can still have a control. You don't have to have the full figure four. I realize I have very long legs, but you can still utilize this position. So we're gonna start here. I'm gonna extend, I move, I get back in this position. When I feel this arm come around to the side, okay, my foot on this side is connected to his hip. So if he starts to move around me, keep going, I'm connected to it, right? You moved, but you just moved me, okay? So as he's moving, I'm gonna grab this elbow here. I'm gonna stretch this leg. That moves me out a little bit. This leg is tight, so it moves me out, not just under. I don't want just to come here like this. That's hard for me to lock it up. I'm gonna stretch and be on my side a little bit. So I'm extending this leg. I bite down tight here. Now I make a figure four. Okay? Now you can finish the choke, but that's, in my opinion, it's not the easiest submission. Okay? Most of the time people come up and they'll try to grab this leg and try to pull it off. Okay? So here, if they reach up like this, I'm gonna grab here, come through. Okay? Now I have a figure four on the Americana. I keep the elbow stuck in my chest, I keep it slung this direction. If it straightens, I put it beside my head, I come here, I come down, straight arm lock. If for some reason it's down here, I'm gonna grab it and we're gonna go Kimura. So you have multiple attacks on this arm, okay? Everybody with me? Okay, so the best way to practice this with your partner, okay, is here I'm gonna do this side. One, boom, he comes around, I'm gonna do the other side. Extend, one, I'm gonna do two, boom. Now we're gonna come here, on the third one, I'm gonna do the submission. So I extend, move, come here, he starts to come around to that side, I catch the elbow, stretch, figure four, attack the arm. Americana, ear to the shoulder, grab the elbow, arm lock, or Kimura. Okay, everybody follow? Cool. Questions?
So when you first stretch your leg and you lock it up,
Yes.
the opponent is probably thinking way more about the choke than it is about the arm. So is
Yes.
the arm usually, you don't get a lot of resistance from the arm?
Well, you will, but it's such a strong position and the other arm can't come to save it. Right? So in this position, most of the time people are thinking about, oh man, I'm stuck, this sucks. I want to pull this leg off. 9 times out of 10, that's the reaction. Right. They'll reach up and grab that knee. And when they do, the Americana's right there. So I've gotten a lot more success on the Americana than any of the other positions. That makes sense? Yeah. All right, let's give it a shot.
1, 2, 3.
That's good. You got the choke. Keep it in the same position. Once I lock that up, let me see that. Lock that down. Now straighten that right leg. Yes. Now lock it.